Hello. Hi everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. Let me know. Let me know if the sound's okay and if the picture is okay. Let me know in the comments so that I don't start the lesson and no one can actually hear me or see me. That wouldn't be good. Yes, it's okay. Yes, it's okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, amazing. Nice to see you again, or nice to meet you if this is the first time you're coming to one of the live lessons with me. If you haven't had a live lesson with me before, my name is Lizzie and I am a tutor on Cambly. So today's live lesson is going to be, as you can see here and in the title of the video, it's going to be about silent letters. So this is a pronunciation lesson. So if you really want to work on your English pronunciation, if it's something that you find quite difficult, or maybe you just want a little review, then hopefully this lesson will be helpful for you today. Okay, we're gonna wait a few minutes just to give some more people a chance to join. In that time, if you think that this video would be useful for someone else that you know, someone else that's studying English, you think they might want to join, then please go ahead and share this video with them too, using the share icon. It should be below the video. But then make sure you come back. But yeah, let's see if we can get some more people watching this live today because I'm hoping it will be very, very useful. A lot of my students, like current students and past students, struggle with English pronunciation, but in particular with silent letters because they are confusing. So while we wait a few more minutes for you guys to share the live with some other people, and while we wait for some people to join, let's just have a little chat. I want to know how you are all doing. Well, firstly, Happy New Year, actually, because I haven't taught a live lesson in 2023 yet, so it's my first live lesson this year. So Happy New Year. I hope you are all having a really nice start to the year, a good January so far. Let's see where everyone is joining from. Some of you have already started telling me, so you probably knew I was going to ask that question. Let me just have a look. So we've got Joe Chan from Japan. Hi, Joe. Who else have we got? Uganda. We've got people from Nepal. Hi, I can't speak. Hi from Sri Lanka. Hi. More people from Nepal, from Brazil, Indonesia, Ukraine, Canada, Croatia. Okay, we have a lot of people coming from lots of different places. So I'm guessing it's a different time for all of you right now. It's 2 p.m. here for me, so it's the afternoon, and I am in the United Kingdom. Okay, maybe you can also tell me, do you guys have any New Year's resolutions? Not even necessarily New Year's resolutions, but I'm asking about New Year's resolutions because it is a new year and I've said Happy New Year. But even if you don't really make New Year's resolutions, do you have any goals? Goals for January, goals for 2023, anything that you want to achieve this year, anything that you want to happen? It might be working on your language, might be working on English, it could be some other things. So maybe just write in in the comments in the chat any goals or any resolutions that you have for 2023. I'd love to see what they are, and then we'll get started. What have we got? Be a better person. Okay. Okay. Get a million. Helmy, get a million what? Get a million pounds? Get a million followers? Get a million friends? A million what? Study hard. Nice. 2023, becoming an EFL teacher. Nice. That's a nice goal. Well, I wish you the best of luck. Oh, okay. €1 million. Okay. Yeah. Goal for my language proficiency is to get the B2 level of English at the end of this year as I am a student. I hope you do get that level. I wish you all the best with that. To speak English fluently, to travel, to quit some guilty pleasures. That's hard. Be fluent in English. Okay, nice. Great. Keep chatting about your goals for a bit while I introduce today's topic. So as I already said, and as you can see, we're going to talk about silent letters. So English pronunciation can be very, very difficult. Um, this is because the pronunciation rules, are very inconsistent. Same as the spelling rules, okay? So spelling and pronunciation is very inconsistent, okay? It's not a phonetic language, meaning the words are not always pronounced or spoken as they are written down. Unlike some other languages, for example, Spanish, where Spanish is a phonetic language, the pronunciation is much easier. It's much easier to remember. Whereas with English, it's very inconsistent. So you could see a word written down and it's pronounced a certain way, and then you might see a word that look almost identical, or it has the same ending or the same beginning or the same letters in it, but it's pronounced completely differently. And this can be very confusing. So don't worry if pronunciation is something that's difficult for you, or it's taking you a long time, or you're to master, or you're making lots of mistakes with it, because it's difficult. So we're all the same with that. um, and today we are going to discuss silent letters. And in English, this can be really confusing for learners because in some words, letters are silent, and then in other words, they're not silent. And it's quite hard to know and to remember when they're silent, when they're not silent. And this is something that really just takes time. Okay, so time, practice, and the more that you practice this, the more that you study this, the more patient you are with yourself while you're studying this, it will get much easier. Um, but today in this lesson, I'm going to give you some rules that you can follow to try to remember when letters are silent. So there are a lot of rules, and of course, there are exceptions, and annoyingly, that's always the way with languages, and especially English. However, we do have some rules that you can follow, and I'm just going to give you 8 rules today. I don't want to give you too much information. So I'm going to give you 8 rules today. And if this is a lesson which you find useful, at the end of the lesson, if you think actually maybe I want to know more rules, I want to know more about silent letters, then please let us know in the comments once we post this video at the end. And maybe we'll be able to do a second part if you feel like we've not covered everything today. So, yeah, let's get started. I'm going to start by showing you some words with silent letters. You can maybe see some back here, but it's not the clearest, is it? I should probably get a bit closer next time. I will do that. But I've got them written down here as well, just so you can see them a bit better. Okay, so here are some words. Now these words all have silent letters. Okay, there is one silent letter in each of these words. So I want you to have a little look at these words and have a think about which letters are silent. Some of you are already saying in the comments, Tony, thank you, well done. But I'm going to read them, okay? And then after I read each word, I want you to tell me which letter in each of the words is silent, okay? So the first one is debt. Debt. So which letter is silent here? So lots of you are already saying it. Well done. So the letter B is silent. Okay, so we don't say Debd. I can't even say it like that. Debd, something like that, right? We say debt. So the B's silent. Good. Okay, what about the second one? Yolk, yolk. For anyone who doesn't know what this is the orange part of an egg, orange or yellow part of an egg. Yolk. Which letter is silent? Yolk. Well done. Lots of you are saying the correct answer. It's the L. So we don't say yolk or yolk. We say yolk. Yolk. Good. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Climb. Which letter is silent in this word? Climb. Well done, everyone. It is the B. So it's not climb, it's climb. Climb. We just have an M sound at the end. Okay, and the last one here, scissors. Scissors. Which letter is silent in scissors? Well done, Ali. You were super fast there. It is the C, okay? Scissors. Scissors. Helmi, you have said O, and so have you, Alex, which is a very good point to make, actually. The O is not silent necessarily. It's kind of pronounced like we kind of have a schwa sound. So we don't say scissors, we say scissors. So it's kind of a schwa, okay? Here. So we do kind of pronounce it, but not fully. Yeah. But this one is silent. This C is silent. We don't say skizzers, although when I was younger, to remind myself how to spell scissors, I used to say in my head skizzers to remind myself there was a C because you don't pronounce it. So when you're writing it, you might forget. Obviously not now, but when I was younger. Okay. Okay, well done, guys. So you were very good at spotting the silent letters there, so that's good. Good listening skills. And somebody has asked a very good question. Why are these letters silent? That is what I'm hopefully going to help you with today. So I think with all of these, I think I have for every single one of these letters, there is a rule you can follow. Okay, so we're going to do 8 rules that you can follow to try and remember when these words are silent. Okay, so we're going to go over these 8 rules, and then I'm going to do a little quiz with you so you can practice this, and then at the very end of this lesson you can ask some questions. So if I don't answer your questions during the live, I do apologize, but I will answer some questions at the end, so there will be a bit of time for that. So please save your questions till the end if I don't get a chance to answer it during the lesson. And also kind of remind you that if you are just joining now, or if you are not able to watch all of this lesson today, do not worry, because we, as always, will be posting it on the YouTube channel for you to watch afterwards. So it will be there forever. So you can go back and watch it. And if there's anything you missed, you can go back and watch it, okay? So let's go over the first rule. And I've sort of arranged or categorized the rules according to different letters. So for example, if we look back at these ones, we've got silent letter B, silent letter L, silent letter B again, silent letter C. So the rules I've kind of organized based on the letters. So that's the way I want you to try and remember the rules, is to think of the silent letter and what rule you follow that makes that letter silent. Okay, so the first rule is the letter K. So I know some of you sometimes quite like to take screenshots, so I'll put it here so you can see it. So if the letter K is followed by the letter N, then it is silent. Okay, the letter K is silent. Followed by means if it comes after it. Okay, so if we have a letter K and then afterwards there's a letter N, then the K is silent. Can any of you think of any examples? Usama already has, and so has Mina. You guys are on it. Well done. So we've got no, knife. Very good. I'm going to show you some examples I've got, and keep writing some more examples if you can think of any. I've got knock, knife, knees. Okay, so all of these words that begin with a K and then they have an N, the K is always silent. We pronounce it with an N sound, the N at the beginning. Okay. Not, good, night, knowledge. Very good, everyone. There's actually quite a lot of words that begin with KN, aren't there? Right. Let's have a look at the second rule. Okay, so that's rule number 1 of 8. So, we're going to move on to letter C. Now, which word out of these ones has a silent letter C? So this rule will apply to that one. Yes, it will. I'm checking. Which one? Scissors, exactly. So words like scissors will follow this rule. So, if the letter C is preceded by the letter S, the C is silent. Now notice I'm using these two expressions, followed by, preceded by. Okay, followed by means it comes after, preceded by means it comes before. Okay, so if it's preceded by the letter S, that means that we have an S and then a C. Okay, an S before the C. Like scissors, okay? S-C. Then the C is silent. Can you think of any other examples where we have SC and the C is silent? We pronounce it with an S sound. Science, very good. Scotland, no. That is actually an exception. So well done for noticing that. We do have exceptions, okay? Actually, a lot of the ones you're saying are exceptions. So there are a lot of exceptions for this one. But can you think of any others? I'm sure I have some more. So most of the ones you've said are exceptions. I don't think I realised how many exceptions there were until now that you're all saying these. Yes, scene, thank you. Scene, scarf is an exception. Scent, very good. I'm just thinking maybe it's when the vowel is then I or E. No, it's not necessarily. Okay, let's have a look at some of the examples. Let's be careful with this one. So we've got scissors, muscle, scene. Okay, with these, the C is silent. But as we've kind of realized, and I've definitely realized from all of your examples, we have a lot of exceptions. There's probably actually more words that don't follow this rule than do. So these are actually more like exceptions. Okay, so maybe just remember these 3, okay? Because these are probably like more common words that do follow this rule. Okay, scissors, muscle, scene. But yeah, all these other words that you said here, Scotland, scarcity, scholarship, scare, scarcity, school, scarf, scar, these all, and soccer isn't an example because that's S-O. These do not follow this rule. Okay, so be careful. But yes, scenario, that does follow this rule. So yeah, be careful with that one. Right, let's move on to the next rule, which is the letter A, or more specifically this, A-L-L-Y, ally, A-L-L-Y. Okay, so if the word ends in this, A-L-L-Y, then often the A is silent. Can you think of any words that end in A-L-L-Y? Going to be maybe some adjectives, mostly. Yeah, we've got some, yes, specifically. Okay, someone said specifically. Notice how I said that word. I didn't say specifically. I said specifically. Yeah. If you pronounce the A, you're adding a whole other syllable to the word that we don't say. Okay. I've got these examples. We've got logically, musically, romantically. If I were to pronounce the A, it would be logically, musically, romantically, which we don't say, okay? So the A is silent in these words. Let's see, other ones. Formally, that is an exception. Formally is an exception. Any others have we got? We said specifically, especially. Especially is kind of an exception, especially. We don't say especially. I think that's one of these words that some people would pronounce the A and some wouldn't. So don't worry about that one too much. But definitely these ones, definitely specifically, physically, very good. That's another one that follows this rule. Physically, good. Locally, the spelling's different for locally. Naturally, 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 naturally. Yeah, naturally follows this rule as well. Good. Okay. Excellent, guys. Well done. Let's move on to the next rule, which is the letter G. Okay, so the rule for the letter G, do we have any? No, we didn't have any there. If the letter G is followed by letter N, then it is silent. If the letter G is followed by the letter N, then it's silent. So if we have G and then N, we do not pronounce the G. Can you think of any examples of this rule? What do we have? Can anyone think of any? I'm going to give you some. Can you think of any? I want to give you a chance to think of some before I show you. I think someone's tried to type it, but they've maybe spelled it wrong. There we go. Foreign. Very good. Foreign. That's a good one. I don't even have that one here. Very good. Okay, I've got sign, align, design. Okay, so all of these words have GN. GN. We don't pronounce the G. We don't say sign, or however you would say that. Okay, sign, align, design. We've got campaign, resign. Yeah, so we've got GN at the end, and the G is silent. Nice. Okay. I can't remember what rule we're on. How many have we got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I said there were 8. Oh, I think we do have 8. I think we've done 4, so we've got 4 more, right? That's right. We're on track. Okay. Next one is the letter L. So if the letter L, this is a little bit more confusing. If the letter L comes after the vowels A, O, or U, it is silent. It is often silent. Now remember, this isn't for every single word, but this is just for a lot of words, okay? This is a rule that you can try to remember so that you understand when these letters are silent, and it just tries to make it a bit more consistent for you, even though it's not. It's like almost like it's giving you a sort of a rule to follow, even though it's very inconsistent and it can be very difficult, but it's like a nice way for you to remember. Okay, so if the letter L comes after A, O, or U, it is silent. Can you think of any words where the L is silent? Not along, because along the L comes first. If the letter L comes after, so we have the vowel first and then the letter L. Can anyone think of any? Not when it's at the beginning of the word, okay? Not when the vowel is at the beginning of the word. When the vowel is in the middle of the word, so if we have a vowel in the middle of the word and then the letter L. So not a word that begins with a vowel like older, alone, all right. No, with these ones, you definitely pronounce the L. Otherwise, that would be really hard to say. But if the letter L is in the middle of the word and the vowel is in the middle of the word, okay, if this is the middle sound, that might help you. We have some. Should. Very good, Miguel. Very, very good. Well done. Cam, Alex. Well done. Excellent. Not owl because that's WL. It has to be L right after the vowel and the vowels are in the middle of the word. Would. Good. So all these words, would, should, could, all of these follow that rule, don't they? It's a U, well, it's O and U, and then an L. Talk, walk, very good. Okay, you're all getting lots now. Folk, amazing. Okay, I've also got yoke, walk, and half. Okay, so here we have a vowel in the middle of the word, followed by the letter L. Notice it's only the vowels O, U, or A with this rule, not all the vowels. Okay. Yoke, walk, half. Let's just go over that rule one more time because I feel like it might have confused some of you. If the letter L comes after the vowels A, O, or U, and the vowels are in the middle of the word, then the L is silent. So folk, walk, half, yoke. Very good. Joe, bulk is an exception. Thank you for sharing that one with us. So bulk is an exception. So be careful. We do have exceptions, unfortunately. Okay, let's have a look at letter N. Okay, rule number 5, rule number 6. I think it's rule number 6. Rule number 6, 3 more. Okay, so if the letter N is at the end of the word and it comes after the letter M, then it is silent. Okay, if the letter N is at the end of the word and it comes after M, it's silent. Can you think of any words that end in MN at the end of the word? We have these 2 letters. Tony has given us one. Well done. Column, autumn. We don't have loads, okay? So you just need to remember the few words like this that we do have. There's not loads of these for you to remember. Column, autumn. I've got both of those and one more. Oh, now someone said the one I've got as well. Damn, good. So autumn, damn, column. We don't pronounce the N. We don't say autumn, damn, or column. Okay? We just say autumn with an M, damn with an M, or column with an M sound at the end. The N is silent. Well done. So it's when we've got M, N at the end of the word. Just at the end of the word. Okay? Not if it's at the beginning of the word. Amazing. Okay. Let's take a look. We've got 2 more rules and then I'm going to go over a couple more I've squeezed in a couple more little kind of rules as well, or just ones for you to remember. Helmi, thank you a lot. You improved my pronunciation. I realized that I made a lot of mistakes. You're very welcome, Helmi. I hope this does help. I know that it's a lot of information and I know that it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like a set rule, okay? It's like with many rules we have with language learning in English, language rules in English. We have these rules, right? But then there are exceptions, unfortunately. But if you remember these rules and some of the words which are included in these rules, then you're less likely to make as many mistakes. And over time, you'll be getting it all right. You'll be perfect. Okay. Maybe not perfect. I'm still not perfect at English, so don't worry if you're not perfect. Right. Let's go over letter W. Letter W. If it comes before the letter R, it is silent. Okay? So if you have WR, can you think of any words with WR? I feel like I've just looked at so many words that you're all typing that they're starting to not even look like real words. I don't know if you ever have that in English or even with your own language where you look at words so many times, you look at one word so many times that it starts to not look like an actual word. I'm starting to be like, is that a word? Like it's starting to look weird to me because I'm looking at the same word constantly. But yes, lots of you are saying really good examples. Right, like right, wrong, um, wrath, rap. Very good. Let me see if I've got anything different. I don't know if I have. I think you've given all my examples. Oh, I've got one more. Wrist. Right, wrist, wrong. Wrist, like this, wrist. Okay. So we've got WR. The W is silent. It's pronounced okay? Which the R sound is a sound that a lot of English learners have difficulty with. So if that's something you do have difficulty with, then I recommend practicing that too. And a great way to practice your sounds if you struggle to pronounce words, letters, and certain sounds in English, if it's because you don't have that sound in your native language, a great way to practice is just by learning like where like the shape, what shape your mouth should be to pronounce that letter or sound even. So for example, the R sound, I'm gonna look like an idiot, but it's fine. You would always have your teeth here like this. Okay. And I think it's a great way to practice if you learn where your teeth should be or where for some sounds where your tongue should be. And then if you just like look in a mirror and make sure that you're actually doing that. Because for some people, if they've never like pronounced that sound before, if you don't have that sound in your native language, it's like you almost have to train your mouth to get used to being in that position because it's never done that before. So it's really important to make sure that you are placing everything correctly in order to make that sound. So if you do struggle with the R sound, then practice that. Okay, you'll look like an idiot like me, but you'll probably be at home. No one can see you. You won't be doing a live YouTube lesson. So it's fine for you guys to do it. So yeah, right wrist, wrong. Silent W because it's WR. WR, silent W. Just remember it like that at the beginning of the word. And there could be exceptions, but there's not with that one though. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the final rule, and then I've got a few more things I want to just show you as well. Some extra tips. So the final rule I want to give you is the letter B. Now with the letter B, we have two different rules. So I'm going to give you both of them as a treat. So the first rule is if it's preceded by, now, sorry for my confusing language. Preceded by means that something comes before it, okay? A letter comes before. So if it's preceded by the letter M, so it would be MB, or followed by the letter T, so T comes after, BT, then the B is silent. So if we have words that are BT or MB, then often the B is silent. You are all giving me some great examples. We've got dumb, tomb, doubt. Excellent. So I've got examples for both rules. So firstly, the M rule. Let me fold this over. We've got climb, numb, thumb. So we don't say climb, numb, thumb. Okay, we just pronounce it like an M at the end. B is silent. Comb, very good. Excellent. And then with the T rule, so if it's BT, then the B is silent. We have debt, doubt, subtle. Okay, debt, doubt, subtle. Not doubt or debt or subtle. Okay, subtle. No B sound. B is silent. We've also got lamb. Very good, Alex. Alex Orange. Alex, we've got two Alexes today, Alex Orange and Alex Roy, and you're both giving really good examples. So when I've said Alex, I've Been speaking to both of you. Elmi, very good question. Do you pronounce climbing? Well, you could hear it there, climbing. We don't pronounce the B, climbing. It's an M sound, okay? So it still follows that rule, even when it's in a different form. Okay, so those are the 8 rules. A lot of rules, right? Let's just go over them really, really quickly. We're going to go backwards. Oh, sorry, I dropped it. We're going to go backwards and do a really, really, really fast recap. Okay, so letter B. If we have M, B, or BT, the B is silent, like climb or depth. Let's look at W. Letter W. If we have WR, then the W can be silent, like right or wrist. Let's look at letter N. Sorry, this is a quick recap. You might have to watch this video back. Letter N, if we have MN at the end of the word, then the N is silent, like autumn or dam. Letter L, remember, if the letter L comes after the vowels O, A, or U, and it's in the middle of the word, the vowel and the L are in the middle of the word, the L can be silent, like yoke or half or walk. Letter N, no, not letter N, letter G. If the letter G comes after the letter N, no, it's followed by the letter N. So if we have GN, then the G is silent, like sign, design, align. Okay, if we have ALLY or CALLY at the end of the word, then the A can be silent, logically, musically, romantically, specifically. Okay, now the SC is one that there were so many exceptions. So I apologize for this one because you all gave me so many words where this rule doesn't apply, okay? So for some words, if the C comes after the S, so SC, then the C is silent. Scissors, muscle, scene. Just remember these ones. And the last one, letter K. If the letter K is followed by the letter N, so we have KN, then the K is silent, like knife, knees, no. Okay, all of these ones. Okay, those are our 8 rules. I hope that they were helpful. I want us to move on and just talk quickly about some other words that can be silent, or other letters, sorry, not words. If the word's silent, then we're just not going to say anything. Other words that have silent letters. So some letters have a silent U, like guitar, guess, tongue. Okay, so U can be silent. We don't have any rule for this, unfortunately. So you just kind of have to remember that. Remember these ones. And also, I want to talk about the letter T, which can sometimes be silent, but unfortunately, again, there's not a rule. But words like soften, listen, ballet, Christmas. Ballet is a French word, okay, so that could be why we pronounce it that way and not ballet, because we are taking it from the French pronunciation. This word, do we pronounce the T? What do you think? You can tell me in the comments yes or no, or what do you think? Do we pronounce the T in this word? Is it silent? Is it not? You're saying no, 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 no. Sometimes. Both are right. Both are right is the correct answer. Well done. Traditionally, people pronounce this word often, and that was with a silent T, and that was the correct way to pronounce this word. But over time, people started to pronounce the T and say often. And actually, both of these are correct. They're both accepted ways to pronounce this word. If someone corrects you, then you can tell them that actually both ways are correct, so they're wrong and you're right. And you can choose whichever way you prefer. I kind of seem to change how I pronounce it. I don't know why, but I think most of the time I do pronounce the T and I say often. But I think older members of my family would say often. So I think that really shows how over time it's changed. So maybe people that are younger are pronouncing the T more often, and people that are older are pronouncing the T less often. Okay. Also, what else? I also wanted to go over very quickly the letter H. The letter, sorry, I'm just seeing what you guys are saying about often and often. I think pronouncing the T in often isn't smooth for me. Yeah, I think with pronunciation, when it's like there are options of how you can pronounce things and you're not sure which way to choose. And I think it's the same with like accent and things like this. If there are different ways that are accepted that you can pronounce something, and you're not sure which way you should pronounce it, then just go with whatever feels most natural for you, whichever feels smoothest and easiest, okay? And don't worry about it too much. As long as you're doing it correctly, it's fine. Okay, letter H. Now, sometimes we pronounce the letter H, sometimes we don't. For example, in these words where I've underlined the H is silent. So our honest, our honest. The H is silent. But in these words, we do pronounce the H. Heavy, healthy. Can you think of any words where we do pronounce the H? Yeah, heart. Okay, air, H-E-I-R, Alex. Yep, that's silent. The H is silent. So some words with the H at the beginning of the word, we pronounce the H. Some words we don't. And this is difficult. A lot of my French students have made mistakes with this. I guess because in French the H is silent. Maybe if you are French, you can confirm if I'm correct with saying that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. The H is always silent, so it can be confusing because we do follow that rule in English sometimes, but sometimes we don't. Elmi, hospital, good. Hospital, it is not a silent H, hospital. Okay. Is our and our the same pronunciation? Yes. So look at this word. We pronounce it our, but if we take off the H and it's a different word, our. I would pronounce it the same, but that could be my accent. I know that maybe some English speakers who live in like the more south of England, and who are not Scottish like me, they would pronounce these slightly differently. I think they would say our for this one, and then I think without the H they'd say R. But I pronounce them the same, okay? But that's my accent. Right. What I want us to do now is I want to test you on some of these silent letters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a word and I want you to tell me which letter is silent. Firstly, I'm going to show you the word and then I will give you time to answer and then I'm going to say the word so that if you're not sure, you get to hear me say it and listen out for it as well. Okay? And I also want you to tell me if it follows one of our rules. And if you can remember the rule, I want you to write it in the chat as well. Okay? So a lot of things I want you to do. Right. The first one. So, is there a silent letter in this word? If there is, what is it? And does this follow any of the rules which I taught you? Okay, silent letter G. Very good. Human brother, you said rule 4. I can't even remember what numbers my rules were. So that's really, really good that you've remembered. Can you explain the rule? What is the rule? What is the rule that we're following here? Why is the G silent in design? Why is it silent? What's the rule? Which other words do we have like this? Yes, G before an N. Okay, so if we have GN, the G can be silent. Design. Good. Okay, let's do the next one. Oh, look. It's the same rule. So, which letter is silent? I'll say the word for you, and it's going to be very obvious. Gnarl. Gnarl. Yeah, well done everyone. It's again letter G and it's the same rule, okay? Same rule, GN, G is silent. Okay, let's try another one. In this word, are there any silent letters? What is the silent letter? And there's not a rule that we went over for this one. So just have to remember this one. Well done, letter W. So it's not sword, it's sword. Sword. Okay, so the W is silent. Sword. Okay. Very good. Okay, this one. Well, we've got a lot with that rule. Let's just get all these rules out the way. This word, I think this word is also French. So if you notice, that's a whole other lesson or discussion, but it is quite interesting. Well, I find it interesting because I'm interested in the English language. You might find it interesting. It is quite interesting to know to find out why we pronounce these words differently and like where it comes from, like the history behind English grammar, English spelling, English pronunciation, words. And there are many different reasons why it's so inconsistent and so difficult to remember. But one of the reasons is, the fact that we've borrowed words from other languages. And we have kept their pronunciation kind of with our accent. So words like this and ballet are French words. So that's part of the reason why we pronounce these differently to how you would expect us to. Okay. Yes, it's letter G. Champagne. Very good. Okay. And again, it's the same rule. GN. Okay. In this word, I think we've already gone over this a little bit today. But in this word, which letter is silent and what is the rule? This one's quite easy. Yeah, letter K, and it's silent because why? What's the rule? Rule 23. Does it feel like we've had 23 rules, Elmi? N is after. Thank you, Umar. Okay, so when we have KN, the K is silent. Okay, let's do this one. Sorry, can't see it. This one. Which letter is silent here? Letter W, well done. And Y, what's the rule? So it's rap, rap. W is before R, yeah. So when we have WR at the beginning, then the W is often silent. Okay, let's do this one. Which letter is silent here? Someone said letter H. It's not letter H. We actually do pronounce the letter H in this word. It's another one. A lot of you are saying letter N. That is correct. It is the letter N. So it's hymn. Hymn. Okay, a hymn is a song that you might sing. Usually it's a religious song, so you might sing a hymn in a church. Okay. Why is the N silent? What's the rule? Someone has said, I think, MN. So yeah, if we have M and then N at the end of the word, then the N is often silent. Like autumn, dam, hymn. Okay, let's try this one. We've just got two more. You're doing very, very well. Which letter is silent here? I'm going to say it in a second for you. It's bristle. Bristle. Well done. Lots of you are saying the correct one. It's the letter T. And remember, we didn't really have a rule to follow for this. So we just have to try and remember. Soften, bristle, often or often. Okay, let's look at the last one. Is there a silent letter here? And what do you think it is if there is one? Sandwich. Sandwich. Very good. Letter D. I do feel like, though, with this one, I did want to show you this one because I do feel like I do hear some native speakers saying sandwich and they do pronounce the D. So, although this is a word where it states that the D is silent, I do hear some native speakers pronouncing the D. Maybe it's not necessarily correct, but they do. So, just be aware of that, okay? Okay. Sandwich. Good. And no rule for that one. Just to show you, okay? So we do have some words with silent letters and we don't really have rules for them. But I have given you some rules and I hope that with those rules, it will help you to at least remember some of these words which contain silent letters, and hopefully you'll be less likely to make as many mistakes with your pronunciation. And even if that is not possible, if it's just too much for you to remember, hopefully at least you'll have learned a few words today and how to pronounce them correctly. Maybe you were pronouncing some of these words wrong and now you will no longer do that. So hopefully it has been helpful for you guys in some way or other today. Remember, you can go back and watch this video the whole way through after this live lesson has finished. So it's going to be available to watch on the Cambly YouTube channel. If you missed anything, you can watch it. If you're unsure about anything, if I spoke too fast, I'm sorry if I did at any point, you can go back and watch it. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like the video. Please make sure you subscribe to Cambly if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel. And also make sure you share this video with someone else that you think might find it useful. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the lesson, if you think it would be useful to have another lesson on this topic, if you think we need a part 2, if you think I need this explained to me a little bit more, then please let us know, because we are always listening to your feedback about what lessons you want us to teach, and we are responding to that feedback. So we often do teach lessons that students request. So please request for this type of video or another type of video that you want to see, and we will listen to that feedback and take it on board. I want to quickly talk about ways to remember ways to remember the silent letters. So as I said, you can follow these rules, okay? You can follow these rules, but remember there are exceptions, and some people might find it hard to remember it this way, but that is one option. You can follow these rules. The other way is to memorize, okay? So you can, find a list of silent letters, or you can write down all of the words from this video that have silent letters and just have a little list somewhere and just memorize these, learn them, remember them. You could write lists like the way I have, so you could categorize for each letter and then write some words where that letter is silent. That could be a good idea. But you could also use some apps that help with pronunciation. Another great way to remember pronunciation, to practice pronunciation, and to improve your pronunciation is to study with a teacher. Because you've got someone there that can correct you as you make those mistakes. So it's really good because you get that instant feedback. And one way that you can study English with a teacher is by using platforms where you can have discussion with teachers, so online platforms where you don't even have to go anywhere to do the lesson. You can just do it from the comfort of your own home. And of course, a great platform you can use is Cambly. So if you do not study with Cambly at the moment, if you haven't subscribed, and you are interested in doing so, then I do have a code that you can use today. and it is Go Live, and you can get up to 36% off your Cambly subscription. So as I kind of mentioned, you can study from the comfort of your own home. You can use your phone or your laptop or computer or whatever, and you can connect with different teachers from around the world, and they can help you with your pronunciation, your fluency. They can teach you new vocabulary, whatever you want. If you just want to have a general conversation, because that's a great way to practice your English, then you can do that too. And I just realized I didn't even give you a chance to ask questions, so I'm so sorry. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone have any questions about silent letters? Does anyone have any questions about how to pronounce certain words? They're a bit unsure. Anyone confused by any of the rules? Then I am happy to answer. Okay. Let me have a little look. No, this was the quiz. Sorry, I'm just scrolling up. Very informative and helpful session for language improvement. Thanks a lot. Islamic Videos officials, thank you very much for that feedback. I appreciate it. Okay. Cambly is a very good English learning platform. Yes, it is. Okay. Lessons for words like thought, though, and through. Yes. Yes. Very difficult, these words. There might be a video on the Cambly YouTube channel about these words. I can't remember right now, and I can't check right now because I'm doing this, but have a little look. Even you can search for lessons when you go onto the channel. I just have a feeling there might be a video about this, so check. But yeah, we could go over words like this as well. We could have another live pronunciation lesson if that'd be useful. Let me just check. File and fire is how you pronounce those two words. Okay, I think we're good for questions. I hope you guys found this useful, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you again soon for another live lesson. The next live lesson will be next week on Sunday. So notice that we're doing Saturdays and Sundays, and we're doing different days now. So it's going to be next Sunday, and it won't be with me. But I will be back to do another live lesson soon. So thank you very much for joining. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.